Hear about the board investigating the practices and safety policies in Norfolk Southern and after another one of their trains derailed this past Saturday.
And hear about the controversy surrounding why pharmacy chain Walgreens will not distribute a contraceptive drug in Ohio.
The verdict in the case against Larry Householder has been declared. Keep watching for the punishment Householder and others will be facing for their crimes.
And bring out those kilts because it's National Bagpipe Day. Discover the lore surrounding the unique holiday and more as Portage Pulse begins right.
Good afternoon, Portage County, and welcome to this week's episode of Portage Pulse. I'm Nikki Gasiewski.
And I'm Joe Malbin.
Portage County NAACP leaders asked for help from police chiefs during a quarterly meeting. Members of Portage County NAACP asked for help with sextortion after an incident involving a Streetsboro student occurred. Sextortion is when an adult pretends to be the same age as a child to get them to send explicit photos or videos of them. Police and NAACP members are still debating on how to solve the sextortion problem. Their next meeting will happen in June.
And the March 14th trial in the shooting death of a 17-year-old girl in Nelson Township has been pushed back 2 months. The trial of 20-year-old Zachary David Blosser was moved to May 9th, according to the Portage County Court of Common Pleas records. This is the 9th time the trial has been moved since Blosser was indicted in May of 2021. Blosser is accused of shooting 17-year-old Kaylee Freitag in the basement of a Knowlton Road home.
Akron City Council approved 8 members to serve on the Police Oversight Board. Approved nominees include Kemp Boyd, Donzella Inezgi, Robert Giplin, Caitlin Castle, Diane Lewis, Beverly Richards, Sean People, and Tristan Reed. The council attempted to approve nominees in their last 2 meetings but struggled with controversies surrounding a former candidate. Their 9th candidate will ideally be a black man between the ages of 18 and 35.
The city of Akron is cracking down on illegal tire dumping. Akron's finance department estimates that illegal tire dumping is costing the city $75,000 a year. The city's preventative measures include misdemeanors and felonies that range from a mandatory fine of $500 and 6 months in jail to a fine of $25,000 and 4 years in jail.
The National Transportation Safety Board has opened a special investigation on Norfolk Southern. The investigation comes after a series of Norfolk Southern train derailments. The probe will look at the company's organization and safety culture, according to a press release. NTSB urges the company to take immediate action and assess its safety practices. Norfolk CEO Alan Shaw says they will cooperate with NTSB.
For Norfolk Southern in particular, we will look at their management practices, their policies. We'll also look at safety culture. That's an important part of this to make sure there is a robust, comprehensive, strong safety culture in the railroad.
Norfolk Southern, the company whose train derailed in East Palestine last month, will be opening a first responders training center in order to train responders to properly handle rail disasters. Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw said of first responders, "We want to ensure they have the knowledge and tools to work safely and effectively and protect the health and safety of their fellow citizens." The training will be available to first responders in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia.
Norfolk Southern CEO faces Senate over train derailment in East Palestine. The Senate held its first hearing on the railroad safety with Ohio senators as witnesses. Sherrod Brown and J.D. Vance introduced bipartisan railroad safety legislation last week prior to the hearing. During the hearing, CEO Alan Shaw said his company is committed to improving rail safety. The hearing coincides with Norfolk Southern reporting a fatal injury of one of their conductors.
I am determined to make this right. Norfolk Southern will clean the site safely, thoroughly, and with urgency.
And Ohio House Republicans have introduced a bill that would cut income taxes but could raise property tax for Ohioans. House Bill 1 would lower state revenues. However, as an offset, the bill would raise local property taxes. House Republicans have commented that the goal of the bill is to keep property tax the same while decreasing income tax. Representative Adam Matthews commented, "Until that is the reality, we're going to keep working on it."
Walgreens vows to not dispense abortion pills in Ohio. Walgreens says they will not distribute the abortion-inducing drug mifepristone. The Food and Drug Administration requires pharmacies to be certified to distribute the drug. Attorney General Yost and other Republican attorneys sent Walgreens and CVS letters on February 1st, arguing the FDA's actions are illegal. CVS's actions are unclear at the time.
A guilty verdict was declared in the trial of former Ohio House Speaker Larry Householder and Ohio GOP Chairman Matt Borges. The pair were convicted for their roles in a $60 million bribery scheme, which was connected to a $1.3 billion bailout for 2 nuclear power plants connected to the First Energy Corporation. Borges and Householder are both facing up to 20 years in prison.
You cannot sell the public trust. You cannot sell the public trust. It is not for sale. And you cannot conspire with others to sell the public trust. As I indicated before, we will be relentless.
Keep watching to hear our reporter Skylar Eddington explain President Biden's budget proposal that was announced Wednesday.
And former President Donald Trump is being asked to testify before a grand jury in New York. Stay tuned for more details.
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is TV2 News, truly Portage County.
Welcome back. As we approach 2024, President Biden continues to give the United States his plans for the next year.
Our reporter Skylar Eddington has the updates regarding Biden's recent statements. Skylar?
That's right. In the past week, there have been several updates about the future of Biden's presidency. Wednesday, the White House announced Biden has come up with a budget proposal aiming to cut deficits by over $3 trillion. The proposal seeks to close loopholes known as carried interest that wealthy hedge fund managers use to lower their tax rates. The plan would also prevent large sums of money from being put into tax-favored retirement accounts by billionaires.
These guys keep saying, how are you going to cut the deficit? Well, guess what? If your tax dollars don't have to go out paying all that exorbitant price for Medicare to drug companies, and it's rational, it's going to save $160 billion in tax dollars.
With many questions rising over Biden's handling of classified documents, his former executive assistant has agreed to sit for an interview on April 4th. The reasoning behind this is due to the committee believing the assistant had access to classified materials that Biden maintained after leaving the White House and information on the Biden family business schemes. Biden has also been busy mending relations with the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen after a disagreement over electric vehicle tax credits. The leaders plan to work on a deal that could boost the use of European minerals that are crucial in the production of electric vehicle batteries. The agreement would provide a sense of security and stability, ensuring the U.S. and allies don't have to rely on China for the crucial minerals. In other news, America's employers have added over 300,000 jobs in February. The recent surge has provided pressure on the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates intensely to fight inflation. Although unemployment rates have risen from 3.4% to 3.6%, the government has made clear that the nation's job market still remains healthy, with many jobs looking to hire.
Because of our economic plan, unemployment has been below 4% for 14 straight months since January 2022. Last month, the unemployment rate remained near the lowest level in 50 years.
That is all I have for you guys today. If you wish to read more on these stories, go to kentwire.com. Reporting for Portage Pulse, I'm Skylar Eddington. Back to Nikki and Joe at the desk.
Members of the United States House and Senate were informed Wednesday of a data breach exposing their personal health information to hackers. DC HealthLink, the company who held the private data, notified lawmakers of the data breach and has said they are working with law enforcement. A broker on an online forum claimed that it had 170,000 records from DC HealthLink and was offering them for sale.
GOP leader Mitch McConnell is receiving treatment for a fall on Wednesday evening. McConnell tripped and fell after a reception for a Senate Leadership Fund at the Waldorf Astoria, Washington, D.C. A spokesman for McConnell says he's being treated for concussion and expresses gratitude for professionals treating him. President Biden said he spoke with McConnell's family and believes the Senate Republican leader will be all right. U.S. Justice Department finds Louisville police to discriminate against the black community. The finding was announced by Attorney General Merrick Garland and comes from an investigation prompted by the shooting of Breonna Taylor. The report states that Louisville Metro Police Department violates the rights of those engaged in free speech, too. The department announces it will review the Memphis Police Department policies after the death of Tyree Nichols.
But I want to speak to the community and just reassure them that we're going to do everything we possibly can to rebuild the trust that is needed.
And on Wednesday, the FDA laid out their new requirements for tobacco companies in order to prevent the contamination of their products and to create packaging that would tell consumers precisely what's in the product. The proposed rules would require all companies to inspect and investigate their products. Dr. Brian King, director of the FDA, said, "While no tobacco product is safe, the proposed rule is intended to minimize or prevent additional risks associated with these products."
Former attorney for Trump's re-election campaign is being censored by her home state. Jenna Ellis is being censored by Colorado legal officials for false statements she made about the 2020 presidential election. Ellis acknowledges she made 10 misrepresentations on TV and Twitter. Her falsehoods and ones made by others fuel the January 6th attacks. She is the latest attorney who supports Trump being penalized for attempts to overturn the 2020 election.
And former President Donald Trump has been invited to testify before a grand jury in New York. The jury has been investigating hush money payments made on the behalf of his 2016 presidential campaign. Attorney to the former president, Joseph Tacopina, commented that he didn't believe prosecutors had made up their minds on the matter. Tacopina also said it's just another example of them weaponizing the justice system against him, and it's sort of unfair.
Today, March 10th, marks International Bagpipe Day. The history of this woodwind instrument dates back to ancient Rome and Egypt.
International Bagpipe Day was founded in 1986. Ever since, the Bagpipe Society has been involved in bringing together bagpipe players to preserve the practice of bagpipes.
You can celebrate by learning how to play the instrument, listening to songs feature bagpipes, and teaching others about them. I have never played a bagpipe before.
I can't say I have either. You?
I have not either,
No?
but I did play the clarinet in high
There you
school.
go. I played the saxophone. I wasn't very good at it, but, you know.
No. At least you played an instrument. I never did.
You never played an instrument? Did you have to do the recorder when you were in elementary school?
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah. I only learned one song, and then I cheated on all the others.
Oh my gosh. That's how I went into clarinet, was from doing the recorder.
Yeah, it's fairly similar.
Fairly
similar,
same with
the
yeah.
saxophone. So.
I mean, hey, bagpipes are Irish, and that coincides with this weekend. Fake Patty's Day.
Fake Patty's Day.
That's true.
Do you guys have any plans?
My sister is actually covering Fake Patty's Day tomorrow.
Okay. I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited for it. My friends have an itinerary planned down to the minute.
Wow.
They're planners. So I will be on a strict schedule.
That's cool. I don't have any idea what Fake Patty's Day is. What is that?
It's just they celebrate it the week before the real St. Patrick's Day.
So
which is next
St. Patrick's
Friday.
Day isn't on the weekend.
Cool.
That's all the time we have for this week's edition of Portage Pulse. Thank you for joining us.
For updates on all these stories and more, visit our website at kentwired.com.
And on social media at Kent Wired on all platforms. I'm Skylar Eddington.
I'm Joe Malbin.
And I'm Nikki Gasiewski. Have a great day, Portage County.